Yo, welcome to Semen Retention. Today we're doing a bit of a kitchen special. I've got some freshly harvested spinach from my garden, and I'm just going to be having a chat whilst, doing some menial tasks. Welcome to Semen Retention. Let's go. Now, if you can't tell, my voice is a little bit tired today because last night I was singing and I was kind of out and about. I had a gig. Um, and yeah, it was just had to do some pretty intense stuff. And to be honest, I hung around after the gig and had a few darts and stuff like that. Darts in Australia means cigarettes, which isn't ideal when you're on this retention journey and stuff. But at the end of the day, I've had some insights where I'm just like, you know what, as long as I don't buy it and smoke it at home, it's all good. Um, but yeah, so today's episode is going to be pretty free flowing. It's a Saturday. I feel I just want to kind of relax, and I wanted to make a video just for fun. So I want to start off with the analogy of gardening and all that kind of stuff because you know this is what kind of is our life, right? We're born from a seed and then we bloom into our full being, and we sprout out, and then one day from those sprouts come the next generation. And if it's going to be manifested through a child, that's obviously ideal. But the thing is you got to have a lot of things in order these days in order to bring a child into this realm. And sometimes it might not actually be a good idea to bring a life into this realm if you aren't in control of your own. And also, if you're unsure of what this realm has in store, like, with the onset of AI and all that kind of stuff, and people losing jobs and all that kind of things, like, I think we're going to find that there's going to be a massive division in classes, as if there isn't already, but to the point where it's like, really, I perceive the higher ups, they kind of view the lower people as kind of batteries and basically fertilizer. That's what they are. Like the lower class to the higher ups are just fertilizer to enriching their soils and you know, to add more nutrients to their crops. You're probably thinking, what do you mean by that? What are you saying? Human beings are fertilizer? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, even from the excrement that they waste into the toilets to, the foods that you eat to, your dead bodies, your organs, your blood, your fat, your sperm banks. Um, Everything is being harvested from humans these days. It's just the way of the game of modern society is that we're kind of harvesting lots of different things. And I find it interesting that a lot of people were kind of unaware of this, or at least they kind of choose not to educate themselves. So, for example, we got a band visiting Australia right now. They're called Metallica. And in one of Metallica's music videos, there's this scene where I think a soldier or something has come back from war and he's in a hospital and stuff and he doesn't want to live or something like that. And they're kind of just doing tests on him or something like that. I forget what the video clip's actually about, but the irony of that is that Metallica back in the day were trying to bring about a message of, anti-war, all that kind of stuff, sticking up to yourself against the man type, energy. But the irony is that they've come to Australia and they're setting up Red Cross blood tents. So they're actually getting their own fans to donate blood whilst they're on tour, which I thought was appalling. And, you're probably thinking, what's so wrong with donating blood? I mean, come on, guys. I don't know where the blood's going. Like, if you want to make a difference, educate people on how to become healthier. Educate people on how to, you know, uh, increase the iron in their lives by eating things such as spinach. Educate people on basic things. That's a good way of helping other people's lives. for people that are in car accidents and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I understand they probably need like a blood transfusion and all that kind of stuff, but you know, that's not happening every single day. You don't need that amount of blood. A lot of the time, these are happening from, you know, idiotic kind of things that people could have prevented. So I want to talk about some incidences that occurred last night when I was at this bar. It was a really cool place. It's a place in Melbourne, and you know, I played the gig. The gig went really well. Got a lot of compliments. You know, the standard kind of day in the life of a musician on SR. You get a lot of attraction. It's just like you get used to it. To be honest, it's nothing special. But then the next thing was when I just started to hang out after the gig, because I was like, you know what, I don't have much on tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have a late night. I'm not gonna drink alcohol, but I'll see what these people are about. I was getting along with a few people, having some good conversations, and then, you know, some of the girls there were pretty cool, but then I got a vibe that I was like unsure, because some of them were into me, and I was like, you know, like I'm at a point now where I'm like, you know, I'm testing to see if these people are going to be worth my time. I'm not doing any of this cheap kind of shallow one night stand type stuff. I've experienced, you know, that a few times, and it's just kind of like, yeah, nah, I've got better things to do. So what happened was, yeah, there was this girl, and she was with this other girl and stuff, and then we'll get along, having a good conversation. Then out of the blue, this guy kind of offers them some K. So K is it's a drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. I'll just put it like that. And then they snorted it right next to me, and I was just like, yeah. It was like an instant disqualification. Like, I was like, yeah, nah. It's just funny when you're on SR and you kind of straighten up and you do all these things, and you hope for, you know, that one day that you're going to meet someone, but, you know, I thought I'd give the bar the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't worth it. Another interesting thing that happened was when I was like sitting outside by myself, and there was this guy, and he was, you know, just a kind of classic kind of, you know, I'd call him like a fake alpha male, like a guy that tries to put out alpha male energy, but he actually isn't. Because a real alpha male doesn't really start shit unless it feels like it's like necessary. So he sees me sitting by myself, and he's just like, what's this guy doing over here by himself? He's just like, oh, he's Sebastian. And I was just like, so what? And then he's just like, yeah, you look like a Sebastian. I was just like, you look like Guy Sebastian. And then he's like, no, like, and then I kind of flipped it on him, and then I started singing Guy Sebastian songs at him. And then he caved in, like that inner kind of aggressive kind of masculine energy caved in, and he submitted to my frequency of joy and happiness and laughter and singing, you know. And I found that that's going to be my new weapon. If someone tries to start me, I'm going to flip it back at them and all that sort of shit, because people just need to understand, it's like, people need to accept the fact that people can just be chilling on their own and they're just absorbing the environment. If you know no one out of venue, by the way, I introduced myself to like probably like 30 people last night. There was a lot of people I talked to and stuff. But at the end of the day, these kind of fake alpha males, if you guys know what I mean, let me know what you think. But like, they're so full of it. And I think and even the girls, you know, the girls that were on the horse tranquilizer, they were like, oh, he just needs to open up his heart. He's obviously got his own issues. And the funny thing is that the females, they completely understand that he's a fake. They know it more than the males, because he's putting on this strong man kind of image, trying to intimidate males to, you know, have a sense of like, I guess, like hierarchical control or something like that. Like he's the top dog. But the thing is that he wasn't. He caved into the singing. I deflected that energy back at him. I transmuted that negative energy into something positive and fun, and he couldn't help but release and let his guard down. Which I thought was interesting because it's the first time I've kind of experienced using singing as a way of diffusing a situation. And then I started to realize, well, hang on a second, like, that is my purpose. My calling is to be a singer. So maybe I should start using it in different ways. And I'm starting to realize that that's pretty cool. So I guess that's like semen retention, hidden abilities, hidden superpowers that you have, you know, that you may not realize until you activate them. So yeah, that was just one of those kind of incidences that I was like, yeah, it's just odd. And on the drive home, I was listening to a YouTuber. He's got a YouTube channel called Spiritual Renaissance, and his other channel is called Beyond the Alchemy. His name's Yash. I'm sure some of you guys already know him. He's like the Florida guy that kind of sits down in the forest and he's like, yeah, so like, you know, you gotta transcend the lust, man. It's just like, but it's just human nature. You know, that's his kind of demeanor. You probably heard of him before. And he made a video yesterday about kind of just like realizing it was a pretty simple message. It was just kind of like, you know, you have to go through all these different stages. Like, I feel like men especially have to go through like a bit of a red pill stage on their awakening journey. And I think semen retention is the perfect like kind of nail in the coffin for the red pill stage, because you start to stop thinking about, you know, power and women and all that kind of stuff, which is still a lower chakra based way of thinking. Like, you think about your solar plexus, that's the highest of the lower energies, and the solar plexus represents like ego and power. And then obviously lust is lower, being the sacral chakra. And, you know, you have to go through all these different phases. And he's talking about like how some people, you know, they go to like a monastery, or like, you know, they're like a monk, you know, they go to a monastery and shave their head and wear those orange, you know, dresses or whatever they are, and meditate all day up in the Himalayas. But then they always seem to get to a point where they're just like, yeah, I'm done. So like I've found it funny. It's just like on this journey of awakening, it's like I found myself being really super strict on myself, like spiritually. And I feel like that was kind of that ego, you know, willpower kind of energy, which came from that archetypal kind of alpha male energy from the red pill, because it's like you kind of develop this very strict father-like. Check out the snail, guys. Fresh from the garden. Should I save him? I reckon he looks pretty cool. Like, yeah, so you transcend that, like, that alpha male type energy and stuff like that, and start to just, when you really start to open up your heart chakra, it really benefits you. And, you know, to no surprise, women love it. Women love when people bring the positive energy and they make people laugh, or they make people feel good about themselves. Give someone a compliment, like, you know, say to someone, oh, are you 41? I wouldn't have guessed you're 41. I thought you're way younger than that. It's like, but that's actually a genuine compliment. Like, you're not sucking up to someone. You're just being genuine. Like, it's, the thing about the heart chakra is that it's connected to the throat chakra. So yeah, if you're to speak some words of love, they actually have to be truthful. Otherwise, there's going to be like a conflict of interest. If you're saying I love you, and you actually don't love that person, you're going to have a blockage in your throat chakra, and also your heart chakra is going to be a little bit, damaged as well. This is all interesting stuff to consider. But yeah, I'm going to end this video with a bit of an analogy just back to cooking and spinach and the garden and stuff whilst we're talking about this. Like, you're going to be unaware on semen retention of how rich you will become, like how much you are going to sow. Those seeds that you planted are going to grow into a vast, healthy, ever-growing, ever-sprouting, ever-regenerating crop of life, of abundance. And, to be able to pick something like this from my garden, just be able to eat it. Didn't have to go to the supermarket, don't have to worry about weed chemicals, don't have to worry about any of that shit. This is just life. That's what I'm making. And it's the exact same thing in semen retention, is that you're instead of expelling those seeds into nothing, even if it was into a female, she could be on contraception and, delete the seed, right? It's going to waste. You're not creating anything. You're just depleting yourself. You're in a mode of anti-life. So when you are on semen retention, you're in a mode of pro-life. And when those seeds aren't going inside the female and creating a new life, you are actually planting the seeds inside of your spirit and inside the kind of womb matrix that we live in. I'll make another video on this, but you can look at a video I made very early in my channel about how the matrix is a womb, and we're living inside a womb. I'll break it down later on, but what's it got to do with semen retention? Well, the thing that it's got to do with it is that when you retain your seed, rather than coming out into the material world, you become. So rather than coming out, you become, because you are coming inwards and it's going within. So you become. The come is basically is life. So if you exchange the word come with life, when you come, you are lifing, okay? You are giving out your life. If you're going to come out, you are lifing out. Life is coming out of you, okay? Therefore, another life is created, or therefore, it is just a waste of life because nothing happens and you just lost, that sacred life energy. So when it comes to, this matrix world, you become something when you retain that energy, because the life, you're being life. Your life is full of life. Your being is full of life, right? So it's going to manifest in all areas of your life, whether it be your garden, whether it be your cooking, whether it be your good looking, it's all part of this amazing thing that semen retention does. So look guys, this is just a real chill Saturday morning episode. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And yeah, just remember, this is this is like I feel very privileged to be aware of the fact of semen retention in probably the most degenerate era that we ever lived. So let me know in the comments how you're going. Let me know what your thoughts are on any topic within this video, whether it be about gardening, you know, alpha male intimidation, girls who could be kind of cool but they end up disappointing you because they take drugs. Or, talking about just semen retention in general. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.